Welcome back to Arise and Shine. Could Harlem be the next technology mecca of Manhattan? Our next guests are banking on it. Bruce Lincoln and Clayton Banks are from Silicon Harlem. They're bringing the area up to speed for the 21st century and the next generation of business innovators. Welcome. We're so excited to have you guys here. So I guess if you could start out by telling us, Clayton, what is Silicon Harlem?
Well, Silicon Harlem is designed to transform Harlem into a technology and innovation hub, much as you introduced us as. And what that means is you're encouraging a startup community that's creating the new Facebooks of the world, the new Instagrams, the new Twitters. We're fostering that through incubation, through capital, all types of ways that we're helping these companies proliferate. It also means adding co-working spaces into Harlem.
Right.
When we started Silicon Harlem, there were 0 co-working spaces, even though co-working spaces all throughout the country. Now there are 5. So we have 5 different areas that young entrepreneurs, 1-, 2-person shops can actually set up without having the huge overhead that it would normally cost when you're starting a business. So all that to really attract new businesses, new companies, even the traditional companies that are in technology, to help drive jobs, help drive innovation, all of that, which transforms the community, especially from an economic development perspective.
Yeah. Now, Bruce, when you think of Silicon Valley, you don't necessarily have Harlem come to mind, right? How did you come up with this concept?
Well, the idea began in 2009 when Clayton and I put together, working with the Columbia School of Engineering, a proposal to Obama's broadband stimulus program. Unfortunately, we didn't get funded at that time, but we knew that it was viable, so we then began to organize it as a for-profit social venture.
Yeah.
And now we sort of see it coming to fruition as it's obviously an idea whose time has come.
And so tell us a little bit about your backgrounds. How did you guys get involved in this? Do you have business backgrounds or technical backgrounds or both?
Well, for me, I started out in the cable industry, so always been involved in telecommunications and media, working for Showtime Networks, working for Comedy Central, and launched a network called Sega Channel, which was the very first all-digital network in television history. So all that driven by technology. So I have also, through my own experience and work, have become a technologist, especially on the media platforms. So from that experience, I created my own company called Ember Media, which is a digital agency, which we've developed software and websites and mobile applications, even augmented reality. So technology is in my blood, and one of the great things that I found in my journey is that everyone should have some level of technology in their life.
Right.
And if you look at the future, by 2020, only 5 years away, 90% of jobs are going to require some level of technology. So I know that for our neighborhoods and our areas, our cities, some of our inner cities to thrive, we have to embrace technology. So it being a part of my background, I'm able to parlay that into my future.
Amazing. And what about you? I know, and you guys have both, by the way, advised President Clinton. Is that right?
Yes, I was a member of the President's Information Technology Advisory Committee from 1998 to 2000. And we basically were part of a group that helped think through policy issues that especially were meant to ameliorate the digital divide. My background is as an educational technologist. And so I was the first Ford Fellow in Educational Technology and worked on developing a product for the Macintosh computer in 1988.
Amazing.
And then I was the senior education technologist at the Columbia Institute for Teleinformation, as well as at the Institute for Learning Technology. So I've had this interesting background between academia and industry, and most recently, I was the entrepreneur in residence at the School of Engineering, and that experience is what spurred the creation of Silicon Harlem. If we can spin these companies out of Columbia, why can't we spin them out of Harlem?
True.
That's true.
Not shabby resumes. I think if anyone's going to turn Harlem into Silicon Harlem, it's you
You're
guys.
the right guys. You're the right guys. Now, Clayton, tell us, how has the community actually received the project?
Well, that's been one of the greatest sort of outcomes of what we're doing. As Bruce mentioned, we've been working on Silicon Harlem for some time, and a lot of it's been working out of Washington, D.C. and working with politicians and trying to get the right sort of things in place for it to happen. But what we found out was The real power is in the hands of the community.
Yeah.
So
That's
we
true.
started in February of 2013 with our very first tech meetup in Harlem, and 500 people came out. And it told us that we weren't the only geeks
Right.
uptown.
Yeah.
And so the community has responded positively. I think parents and students alike all realize that in order for Harlem to thrive and for their own individual families to thrive, we have to embrace technology. So
Yeah.
the community's been really strong behind everything that we're doing.
And you just mentioned Washington, D.C. Bruce, did you guys get backing from politicians as well?
Well, Congressman Rangel is our congressional sponsor. So when we have our meetups, he actually uses his mailing list and as well promotes our events. Sort of we were 3 months in and all of a sudden the local politicians came and began to work with us. One, because they realized they now needed a technology platform, but two, they've really made it what they want to be their legacy, making sure Harlem is not left behind in the digital age.
And I know
Yeah.
Jesse Jackson too, right? He's responded to your project as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, Jesse's been a real stalwart when it comes to the technology sector. He's helped to reveal that on average, tech companies have less than 3% minority representation in their employment. And so he's been very helpful in helping us sort of shape a narrative around that. How do we create the pipeline to make those numbers better?
Yeah.
And how do we hold those companies accountable to their own internal hiring practices?
Yeah.
Right.
So he sees Silicon Harlem as one of those shining spots that can be a part of the solution. You know, he often says Wall Street and Harlem are on the same island.
Yeah.
Somehow or another,
True,
we got to make
yeah.
sure
Yeah,
they come
that's true.
together
Right.
to create economic justice for all.
Well, talking about economic justice, I mean, what changes have come about ever since you launched the project in Harlem?
Well, one of the things that we are very proud of is, as I mentioned earlier, is our co-working spaces. Those have really helped a lot of the people that are working from their homes or working out of a Starbucks find a way to come into a facility, work with like-minded people, perhaps even find new partnerships and create new companies. The other outcome, frankly, in a lot of ways, is our ability to work with a lot of the incumbents that are putting broadband throughout the city and ensure that we have a gigabit future. In other words, a gigabit speed, which is very important. The average speed in a home right now ranges from 5 to 10 megabytes per second. That's
Yeah.
a fraction of the speed when you come to a gigabit speed, which is
Right.
a very high speed, but it gives you a competitive advantage if you have broadband speed. We talk about the digital divide of the 90s when internet was being rolled out, good neighborhoods getting the access, bad neighborhoods coming behind.
Right.
Today's digital divide is whether you have a gigabit speed or not. So we want to make sure Harlem is a part of that solution.
And it's not just internet speed. Bruce, can you tell us a little bit about the free Wi-Fi that's available in Harlem now?
We all love free Wi-Fi.
Yes.
I'm telling you,
I'm telling you that.
it's
We all
like
love free Wi-Fi.
oxygen to the young people. And so there's an initiative that's called the Harlem Free Wi-Fi Network, which began in the Bloomberg administration, is being continued and expanded by the current administration under de Blasio. And what it's trying to do is make sure that anyone from their phone or tablet have ubiquitous internet access using Harlem as their test bed. And so that's very important for our young people who,
Yeah.
of course, stay online,
Right.
but as well
Yeah.
for everyone if you're talking about getting certain critical services. Even our elderly now through AARP, they need to be tied into the internet. And with increased usage, you have to have increased bandwidth.
What's
Yeah.
important, though, is that word free.
Yeah.
So what's great is there's a lot of issues with affordability when it comes to online access. So the ability to offer free Wi-Fi is critical to areas of our great city that are suffering with poverty.
Right.
All right, thank you very much for your
Amazing
time.
work, yeah.
And I definitely go to Harlem quite often, so I'll be trying.
You'll be
I'll be
taking
looking for that
advantage
free
of
Wi-Fi. It definitely will be.
Fantastic.
Now, this is definitely an important and exciting program. We will definitely keep looking out to see, what good work you guys are doing there in Harlem. For more information, you can go to siliconharlem.net or find them on Facebook and Twitter @SiliconHarlem.